Part of this is going to be your reactions to the insanity, honestly.
Yeah, I kind of wish we didn't have that conversation before.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
It is what it is.
It is what it is, unfortunately. All right. Well, hey, hello, and welcome to whatever this is.
We don't know.
I'm Darby Holman.
I and Jeff Mayo.
This is, I don't know. Hey, Jeff, you beat Danganronpa V3.
I did.
And I guess we're about to just kind of, do it.
We're about to do it. So, yeah, we're... if you're interested in how I feel about the game in general speaking, we have that on the game, or the Nerds at Large Gaming Podcast.
Episode 91.
91, which will certainly be out before this.
Yes.
Coming out, yeah.
Yes.
So, spoilers for the whole Danganronpa series.
Yeah, so this video is going to be full spoilers. We're mostly just talking about the end of Danganronpa V3.
Yeah, mostly focus on that, but stuff from other games will certainly come up.
Yeah, so if you're watching this video, make sure you have played it. I'll put in a link to episode 91 if you want to see the spoiler-free.
Yeah. Plus, Danganronpa V3's opening cinematic thing spoils the other games. So.
Yes, don't play V3 either if you
should have put that in the podcast, but should have remembered that.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
People don't know how sequels works.
So spoilers. Run away. Little birds, I got a text. Radio Westeros replied to me. Huh. I don't know what it is.
Well, Darby.
Can't connect. All right.
It was all fake, Darby.
It was all fake, Jeff.
No joke.
Yeah, so I guess just for people, maybe people who have played this a long time ago and they're like, so refresh, what exactly happened? Why was it so crazy?
I feel like we got to kind of start at the beginning because it kind of leads into it.
All right.
Let's start. Okay.
Take me down the road, Jeff. Because part of this is also I have not played Danganronpa at all. So
yeah.
I'm just getting these updates from Jeff. And he was like, yeah, V3's ending apparently is really controversial. So we'll see how it goes. And he told me like what it was. I'm like, what? What is this?
So yeah, it's kind of brief description of the first two, whatever. So for people in Darby, first one is a general thing. You're doing the whole killing game in the high school, blah blah blah. It's more grounded in comparison. Still anime as hell. You get to the final six, or whatever. It turns out the main antagonist is Junko Inoshima, who is one of the 15 original students that was in the game. We thought she was killed, but it's actually her twin sister, who Junko tricked into or made her pose as her and then killed her, and then she was surprised. So it was like one of those twists, like, maybe I should have seen that coming, kind of things, like, because when she died or whatever, Junko says, or who you think is Junko says, this wasn't how it was supposed to happen or something like that, but you thought it was like she wasn't supposed to die, or just in a general sense or something like that. I might have worded that a little wrong, but the general idea of that. Then it turns like, oh, that's because she was in on this plan and she thought she was supposed to live through the whole thing and blah blah blah. Yeah, so that happens. Joker's a bad guy. Go to the second game. Well, it's also a twist is the world's kind of gone to shit because of this high school girl made the world go crazy, and the world's kind of destroying itself, blah blah blah. Okay. The high school kids, when Junko dies, they get out. The world's kind of getting back to the sanity.
Are we still in 1 or 2?
Yeah, we're in 1. About to get to 2. Okay. 2. The class wakes up. They're like on an island, or what they think is an island. Monokuma's there, of course.
Yes.
Making do the killing game. Blah, blah.
You can't have Danganronpa without Monokuma.
Exactly. They do the killing game. They get to the final 5 or whatever. You get to the final trial. Turns out Junko uploaded her, I guess, kind of like uploaded her mind, so she's dead still, but her mind's like digital, and she's in that. They're in a computer program, kind of controlling things. And the cast from the first game uploaded the cast from the second game's mind in there, because they're what are called Remnants of Despair, which are like Junko's kind of cult follower people that trying to also destroy the world and craziness and all that kind of stuff. Okay. So they put them in the computer program and kind of wipe their memories to kind of reform them, get them back to where they were before they went crazy. So So and then
So the events of 2, you find out, is a computer simulation.
Yeah, they're in a computer simulation, and it's the whole thing of you die in the game, you die in real life, that kind of crap.
Okay.
They do that. They get out of there. The main character goes Super Saiyan, like literally Super Saiyan. They get
you
out.
said that 2 you liked a little bit more because it was more grounded than 3.
But, yeah. But at least that was in a computer program. So then the anime happens. The main thing I'll say about the anime is I don't like it. I don't like the ending. It kind of ruins 2 in a way because then at the end the class of 2 come out of their computer simulation things. They're all alive, every single one of them, all 16 of them. Yeah. They're all back to normal. So it's like there are no really repercussions to 2. So that's kind of lame. I kind of ignore the anime for
like
that.
the real people are also alive. Yeah, that's dumb.
They were supposed to die, but they're alive. That's dumb.
Yeah, it's dumb.
So yeah, we get started at the you wake up, you're playing in this girl called Kaede, who is the ultimate pianist. She wakes up, she falls out of a locker. And then she hears the locker next to her kind of rumbling around, blah, blah, blah. A boy comes out. It's Shuichi, who's the ultimate detective. They go around the school or whatever. They go into the gym. They meet the rest of the cast. Monokuma comes up, or the Monocups come out, which are Monokuma's kids. Yeah. They do at that time they're dressed as regular high school kids, like regular uniforms. They're like, the Mono kids are like, this is boring. Do something, make the kids transform into their regular crazy clothes. Like now you're like ultimates, blah blah blah. Wipe their minds. They kind of reset it. Kaede comes out of the locker again.
So do you at this point do you know this is also a simulation or something?
No.
Then how would they have like reset all this stuff?
Because they have fancy stuff that erases minds and crap, Darby.
Okay.
There's the whole thing.
Okay.
So Kaede comes out of the locker again, pretty much says the exact same things. Suichi then comes out of the locker next to her the same way. Says the exact same things and when the world's going on. The only difference is they're wearing different clothes and stuff. They go to the gym, meet the cast, they're all in their fancy get-ups, blah blah blah.
They're Phantom Thieves outfits.
Yeah. And now this one discusses what you find out. You meet all the whole cast and find out what their ultimate skill is. You got, and I mentioned in our the spoiler-free discussion that you can tell this ramps up immediately because some of the ultimate talents are Ultimate Robot and Ultimate Supreme Leader.
What does that even mean?
They kind of keep that kind of vague.
It's supposed to be stuff they're like really good at, right?
Yeah.
So is he like a dictator somewhere?
Pretty much. That's what they in it. Yeah. So do that. Blah blah blah. Monokuma comes out. Hey, you're gonna do a killing game. Like, okay.
Okay.
They're like,
it's Danganronpa.
Yeah. And they're all like, well, Kaede, who you're playing as. So I'm like, cool. You're playing as a girl. That's neat. And she immediately seems like she has more personality than the first two.
So there's something up with her.
Yeah. She's like, no, we're not gonna play a killing game. We're gonna escape. Blah blah blah. So she kind of leads that on. So. It doesn't go as planned. Some people don't like, are tired of it. Blah blah blah. And Monokuma gives a little time limit of, hey, if you don't kill it by like 2 days from now, I'm gonna kill all of you. So someone needs to do some killing. Shuichi does some
Papa Bear happy.
Yeah, Shuichi does detective work, figure out some things about what it looks like to be the door, the mastermind, the person who controls Monokuma is behind of in the library. They set a trap before it so they can find out who it is. They do that. They set the trap. They do an alarm and all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to go into every little detail.
Okay.
But the alarm goes off like right before the deadline. They go down there. They find out Rantaro, whose ultimate talent, he can't remember his ultimate talent, is dead. You see a shot put ball next to him. And he's like, he died in front of one of the cameras or something. Like, there are a bunch of cameras there and all that kind of stuff and motion sensors and stuff.
So is he ultimate shot put man?
Well, now he is. He ultimate shot put dead, Dari. That was offline now. But so he's dead, blah, blah, blah. Killing game started. You still don't know his ultimate talent. You don't know who killed him. You do the investigating stuff. And the main thing that goes on here is what are people's alibis, which is important because there's so many people at this point. There are 15 people. You go through all their alibis, like, okay, a lot of them have alibis, blah, 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 set up. So you keep on marking off one by one. It's like, it can't be this person, it can't be this person. It could potentially be this person because of reasons, but not because of reasons, blah, blah, blah. You go in the trial and you discuss all that up. It turns out that to find the mastermind, Kaede, the person you've been playing as, was the killer.
Right.
So the whole time you were doing stuff to set up the murder. And even when I was playing it, I was watching stuff like, this is kind of weird. Like kind of the dialogue she's doing and what she's exactly doing. Like there was one point you're in the room, the supply room where all this crap is. And you're just kind of standing around like, I guess they want me to do stuff or whatever. It's just, I'm clicking on stuff, the same dialogue as when I was in there before, until I did the shot put ball. She said something about the shot put balls or whatever, and then something happens and she leaves or whatever. I didn't notice there wasn't a dialogue line of Kaede put the shot put down, because normally there would be, because she picked it up to examine it. It's like, oh, and there are a bunch of stuff like that. It's like, oh, you tricked me, game.
So did they go back and show like that dialogue, like you should have caught this or something, or did
they do that kind of stuff, like showing that kind of stuff. And you, at the end of each trial, you do a little thing where you kind of like, you have a comic strip and you're kind of piecing together what exactly happened.
Okay.
And then it plays it through it for people who may not completely get it. This is how it all happened.
Okay.
So yeah, in the middle of the trial, once it kind of comes clear, oh, it looks like it's Kaede, you switch to Suichi, the ultimate detective who's been around him the whole time. Okay. And he puts it all together and blah, blah, blah. Kaede did it to do the mastermind, but at that point, she wasn't really trying to hide it, that she was a killer at that point, because she wants everyone to survive. Because the whole rules of the thing is, if you kill someone and you get through the trial without being caught, everyone else dies and you get to go free.
Right.
But she didn't want to be like everyone to die.
So
she pretty much went through the trial of not letting Eddie, like, not saying straight up it was her. She wanted Shuichi, because Shuichi is just kind of not confident, that kind of thing. She wanted Shuichi to build confidence to be able to do what needs to be done, that kind of thing.
Okay.
I know I'm jumping over place, so it's harder.
It's fine. Just keep going.
Yeah. So Shuichi does it. Kaede dies in a very gruesome way. Yeah. Something, Darby, you could look up if you wanted to, is once someone's caught, they do a little death scene. There's a little more budget in it. That's usually related to their talent.
Okay.
So she's kind of hanging from the ceiling and kind of playing a giant piano with her feet.
Okay.
And then she gets pretty much hung to death or whatever, and then the thing you lift up for the piano had spikes on it and it's closed on her.
Eesh.
It's very gruesome, Darby.
It's brutal, man.
Rated M game, Darby.
I don't know, everything I've seen has been like 2D models.
Oh yeah, is that? Yeah, these are a little more fancy, more work going on.
Okay.
So yeah, that happens.
Okay, so are we jumping from this to the reveal at the end, or is there more?
Yeah, I can do some basic thing for the trial,
Okay.
but I'll try to do the one a lot quicker.
Yeah,
This one's more set up and important. 2 trial was one that I was kind of, like, is really cool or whatever. It involved a guy being in a there's a magic show going on in a like tank above a smaller tank above a giant tank, but the smaller tank has piranhas in it. Turns out the guy who died was in the back of the piranha thing.
Okay.
Blocked. I won't go into that. That was just confusing. A lot to explain there. It was really weird.
I just know what you said before. It sounded like that first trial there was a reveal from that one to the end. I didn't know. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot more stuff go on. I got to jump around. It's kind of a fun time trial, but that's a lot of explaining. Yeah, we won't go into that.
Don't. It's more confusing to me than the listener, because the listener is
probably listeners confused if they just wanted to listen to funny Danganronpa stuff.
Yeah, which, I mean, go for it. Just I'm not going to understand it, but go for it.
Yeah, we'll try to do that as much, because, that's a lot of explaining. Point is the first one. Well, I'll just say this for the second trial, which brought up one of my criticisms of trials are cool, but motivations are kind of weird and kind of came out of nowhere.
Right.
It turns out the killer for the second trial was the ultimate, or Kurumi, the ultimate maid.
Oh, boy. I could just see Danganronpa get the ultimate maid.
No, actually, she's not sexualized really at all.
Okay, that's surprising.
She's just kind of like, no, she's like the Mon character to it. She kind of,
Okay.
I think she's good at everything, blah, blah, blah. And part of me was like, are they setting her up as the killer because she's kind of doing everything for everyone? The whole thing of after she's dead, it's like, we can't do anything by ourselves. Didn't really do that, but, you know. So you go through the whole trial or whatever, and it's like, for a whole bunch of things, it's like I can't tell who did it until it actually asked me who is the killer. Like they prompted pick out of the 16 who you think or who's surviving, who the killer is. I kind of thought it's like I'm not really sure. They didn't make it as clear as they normally do. It's like, oh wait, there's this one certain thing because she was in the gym where it happened or whatever for like 5 minutes. It's the only way she could set it up or whatever.
Yeah.
So she did it while I picked her. Was right. Dude, at the end, you get her to confess or whatever. The reason was weird. Apparently, because she's the ultimate maid, she does what anyone asks her. She was actually the Prime Minister of Japan, the de facto Prime Minister of Japan. The Prime Minister hired her to pretty much run the country.
Okay.
And Monokuma made these motive videos.
Yeah.
That, you know, showed some motive for them to kill. And hers was pretty much, hey, if you don't get out of there, Japan's pretty much gonna fall apart. So she was kind of like,
I need to get out.
Yeah, I need to kill you guys so I can't, for the good of the country, that kind of thing.
Okay.
And it's like, okay, it just kind of came out of nowhere, that kind of thing.
I mean, the fact that she's Prime Minister, I guess, came out. I mean, but that's fair enough. Whatever.
Yeah, it's kind of fair enough. But in 2, a lot of, and I might be remembering wrong, there are motives that came out of nowhere as you figure out who did it and stuff, but they're at least related to the story. The overarching plot in some way, I felt like.
Yeah. And
characters more deeply and everything. This one is just kind of, we need her to be the killer, so here's the reason.
I could see someone who's like, thinks they're important enough, power enough to be like, it's worth sacrificing y'all's life.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but, yeah.
You know, I could see the power-hungry person.
Yeah. Okay, so, now, Dari, this is one I might need to do a little more explaining for because it's just one of the craziest things in Danganronpa. The next third trial. So the trial starts or blah blah blah. The 3rd chapter. The maid's dead. Blah blah blah. Talk to the characters. You find the the leading up to this is a character called Angie, who's the ultimate artist who pretty much believes in this god called Atua. She pretty much started a cult, and everyone started something like, all thanks to Atua. Atua knows all and stuff, and you're like, oh god, we're doing this.
Praise be, let's go. Praise be in that.
Then you find her dead, and you're like, okay, she's dead. She was also doing a ritual. She was also planning to do a ritual to bring someone back to life. That was a motive from Monokuma. You never actually do the whole thing to bring someone back to life.
See, I don't know if it would have worked, maybe.
Yeah, but then there's a guy called Kiyo, who is the ultimate anthropologist who studies like cultures and stuff, which is a cool thing. You learn some pretty cool things. So he wants to do a seance to talk to Angie to find out who killed her. He's doing this whole thing the whole time. This whole chapter, he's like, I want to do a seance. I want to do a seance, pretty much. So you do the seance or whatever, and it involved putting someone under a cage with a cloth over them and that kind of stuff.
Sounds like they're about to die.
Yeah. So this is doing the investigation after someone died. You do the whole thing. You pull them up, and the girl's dead. the girl I put under.
It's like the first time someone's died.
Yeah, they're like, that was the crazy thing. Yeah, it's like when they pulled it up and she wasn't responding or whatever. You pulled it up, and I see the blood. Like, oh god.
Oh jeez.
And yeah, they do crazy stuff. It makes it sound like,
well, spoilers. It's not her, or maybe it is her. I don't know.
No, there was something they were saying. It was like, okay, it sounds like there were 2 different killers. Like maybe she killed the first girl, but someone else killed her or whatever. And Monokuma made a rule of, no, the second murder doesn't matter. Like it was pretty much a free kill. Like they wasted their time killing that person. Only the first person can be punished. So you did a thing. You did the trial. It turns out the anthropologist guy killed the girl, the second girl.
Yeah.
In the thing, like surprise, surprise. But they made it seem like it could have been someone else because they were kind of hinting at that maybe someone did it from under the floorboards.
Weird.
But that comes into play. The floorboards, Steve Darty.
Of course, the floorboards are coming back.
Yeah.
So why did he want to kill her?
To the whole thing of getting out, and well, it gets to the crazy motivation.
He
thing.
didn't know that Monokuma was gonna say that was pointless and didn't count.
Spoiler: he killed the other girl too. Why he killed both. But at the time, you figured out he killed the second girl first.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, okay, this could actually be kind of cool because he'll get to be alive, and hey, you have someone who will kill. Like you'll be going into the next chapter thinking we got someone here who will kill someone.
He's proven that he's
yeah, but he killed them both, so that kind of didn't matter. But I guess kind of cool. You had to still figure out it was him. Did the first murder, but the way he did the second murder was interesting. He put a sickle, like in the middle of the cage in the cloth. And you also put a statue on the top of the cage, so it held the sickle in place on the top of the cage. And because the girl was like huddled down and had to look down the whole time, she didn't know it was there. So the way this worked, Darby, he went under the floorboards way before this. Like he planned this, and cut the or not really foundation, but was holding the floorboards in place,
Yeah.
So like if you stomped on the floorboard, it would lift up or whatever.
Okay, right.
So that was a crazy thing. So Darby, seesaw effect. So during the seance, it was completely dark.
Yeah.
While they're like chanting and singing and that kind of stuff, he moves along in the dark, because there's salt on the ground, so he's kind of following that path.
Okay.
Other crazy stuff. He jumps, lands on the exact board, which causes the girl to go up and put her head into the sickle.
God.
It's ridiculous because all this stuff had to happen, and a freaking seesaw is the murder weapon.
It's pretty fucked up.
Yeah. No, it's kind of crazy because there's also this one trial thing, mini game thing you do where you actually there are letters on the screen and you gotta like put it together to do the exact word you're looking for. And the thing was seesaw effect, but no one mentioned seesaw beforehand. I'm like, what is this?
No,
I just started doing letters. Is like, oh, okay, I get what they're going for now. I don't know. I made it. It's funnier at the time. For when you're playing it, the seesaw effect is what did it.
It's like, what?
So it happened. The reason he killed the first girl is because she came in while he was preparing, so he killed her to silence her. Blah blah blah. But the moment you figure out, it's like, so why'd he kill her? Why not just leave the second girl be? Why do all those additional clues and all that kind of stuff?
Because you
leave the evidence.
Someone,
because this is a crazy person, and his design screams crazy. It's one of those things where his design's like, I can pull up on my phone. It's like, this guy is a killer. But is also thinking, okay, that's just a misdirection. He's probably gonna.
It's too obvious.
Yeah.
Right, it has to be right.
But the reason his sister died, but he's a crazy person. Is like his sister's inhabiting his soul, is what he says. He has a mouth cover, but he has lipstick under it. Yeah, this guy. This guy not scream killer to you, Darby?
Yeah, he looks pretty killer-like.
Yeah. So he was in love with his sister, but not in a sistery way. In a romantic way.
Oh, great.
I was like, yeah, what's what we needed in this game.
Incest, yeah.
But it only lasted like 5 minutes because after the trial, and then he died or whatever. But he kills girls. He did it beforehand to send his sister 100 friends in the afterlife or some shit. It was kind of dumb. Like, okay. That's what I mean. It's like motivation coming out of nowhere and really adds nothing to it other than, hey, this character's crazy. Cool. Move on.
Right.
Try remembering what the next one is. Oh yeah, next one involved the virtual world, blah blah blah. Which was cool. So you had to get clues from a virtual like game world, which literally was you die in here, you die in real life type thing. You had to but the killer
games within games.
Yeah,
within games.
The killer made it look like they were died outside, but they actually died inside. So you had to figure out, which was cool. There's another thing of the killer's motivation was kind of random and involved amnesia and stuff, but it kind of played into the game a little, like the overall story a little bit. So cool. It's the reason the guy killed the person in game was because throughout this game you're getting flashback lights, which are giving people memories of from the past back. Yeah. Which turn out to be fake, which goes into the whole thing. Fake memories. He gets a memory back saying, "Hey, the world is destroyed. We are the last humans on Earth." That kind of thing. We were sent into space to kind of, keep the human race alive because meteors hit the Earth and did a disease, wiped out the human race.
Okay.
So to save the guy who's a killer, Gonta, is like a Tarzan type character. He's supposed to be the nice character. He's probably the nicest character in Danganronpa's had.
Like Tarzan, as he was raised by.
Pretty much
monkeys?
raised by animals.
Okay.
And he's like, he doesn't say I, he says Gonta is a name when talking, that kind of thing.
Weird.
I mean, it's Danganronpa. So he was like, okay, I'm gonna, he was kind of killing his friends as like a mercy killing thing, so they don't find out and go into despair, that kind of thing.
Right.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, do that. Then right afterwards, everyone finds out about the whole humanity's been wiped out thing, and they're all kind of sad and about to give up or whatever. Because like, what's the point of anything? If we thought when we got outside, escaped, or people would be there, but the Earth to them is literally uninhabitable.
So they just got this message from the outside.
No, it's the flashback
It was the
memories.
Okay.
Yeah, but
okay.
for the other characters, it wasn't the flashback light. They actually got to the gate. They actually escaped. They opened the door, and the world's uninhabitable. It's like a wasteland. Like you literally cannot breathe out there. They started choking. Then someone else shut it.
Okay.
So that kind of thing. So
I'm good.
So it makes sense why they'd be kind of depressed and like they were all kind of like, maybe we should just kill ourselves kind of thing. Because what's the point at this point?
Yeah.
That kind of stuff happens. Blah blah blah. There's another murder that happens. It was a pretty cool one because you think that you think someone's the victim and someone's definitely a perpetrator, but some weird things it's the other way around. They'd use some camera work and angles and that kind of stuff the perpetrator did they plotted it together. I won't go into all the details, that's a whole other explanation. To make it look like the victim was the perpetrator. Like the person we thought was the victim, but it turned the other way around. The person we thought the victim was actually the killer.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah. And it made sense. It wasn't like malice or anything. I won't go into all that. That's a whole long explanation. Then you get to the final chapter. There's only 5 people left. There's the Suichi, who's the ultimate detective. There's Maki, who is the ultimate assassin, who the first 2 chapters we thought was the ultimate child caregiver. They were hiding the whole assassin thing.
I mean, that's pretty damning if you're looking for killers.
Himiko, the ultimate magician. Samugi, who's the ultimate cosplayer, and Kibo, who is the ultimate robot.
Right.
Those are the 5 left alive.
Yeah.
And at the end of the last trial and the punishment, Kibo kind of goes crazy and is kind of like, I'm about to just blow everything up. Screw this. He got some stuff. He modified it. He got a laser cannon. He's got a jetpack. He's blowing shit up.
Of course.
Yep. And the Mono Cubs have these giant robots called Exosouls that they were using to fight him or whatever. Kibo's like to Shuichi and stuff, hey, I'm going to give you to Sunrise to you to kind of end all this, like figure out who the mastermind is, all that kind of crap. If not, I'm blowing this place up.
Okay. So is this when...
This is the chapter leading up to it.
Okay.
And I'm going to go over the investigation a little bit because it kind of leads into the twist. Sorry, this might be going longer than thought. I apologize.
It's fine. It's a Danganronpa deep dive.
Yep. So you do the investigation. The school's kind of in ruins or whatever. You're investigating pretty much the final rooms you have not seen in the school because after each chapter, more of the school is unlocked to you.
Okay.
You find Kokichis, the ultimate supreme leaders. Like everyone has like their own room, which is based around their talent. And each chapter, a couple of them open up. You haven't seen Kokichis yet.
Okay.
So you go in there. He's the ultimate supreme leader, this ultimate supreme leader thing. You kind of find out through the investigation. You think like he's actually kind of the boss of the Remnants of Despair. So he's like right under Junko as far as being crazy. No, he's actually the leader of a 10-man like gang who does petty like crime, nonviolent crimes and pranks and stuff.
Not a very supreme leader.
Yeah, but this whole time he's just kind of been an instigator and one of the most interesting characters because he kind of, you didn't know what he was thinking or planning or whatever. He was a character who lied a lot, and that was just kind of his thing. But it was kind of interesting because you don't know when exactly he was telling the truth or not.
Right.
So it was more interesting for the whole thing. Turned out, no, he was just crazy, and he just kind of wanted to have fun with this whole thing and beat Monokuma at his own game, that kind of thing. He was just a crazy person.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's kind of cool. And Rantaro, if you remember, who died in the first trial, you didn't know his talent.
The shot put dude.
Yeah, the shot put who died from the shot put. You can finally go into his room. And you figure out you finally found out his talent. He is the ultimate survivor because he has gone through one of these killing games before, but his memory was erased of it, of course.
So is that when you learned that, like, oh, so these have happened before?
Yeah, there have been multiple killing games besides the ones from 1 and 2 because he was not a character in 1 and 2.
Okay. So your characters know about the 1 and 2 ones?
Yeah. For their memories, they remember that those things existed, and the Hope Peaks Academy, which is the school that's kind of mostly the center of all this, which is where all the students have been in these killing games that gone to school, pretty much.
Okay.
That's usually where the ultimates go to school and that kind of stuff. So they figure out Rantaro's the ultimate survivor. They find a video of him saying, "Hey, I'm you. This is real. Blah blah blah. You're not gonna remember you making this video. I survived a killing game before. You have to survive. I got a couple perks and stuff. Blah blah blah." So you got kind of that. So the main thing you learn is there are multiple killing games or whatever.
Okay. So like, what did your people think the Danganronpa 1 and 2 were? Like,
they thought they were previous killing games that happened. Like,
okay, so they do think there is, like, killing games are being held, like it's a thing.
You know, I mean, they know the first 2 happened, but when they saw Rantaro, it's like, this is weird because we knew nothing about another killing game besides these 2.
Okay.
And we know the people involved, and he was not one of them.
Okay, well, carry on.
Yeah. So you do the investigation. You find the mastermind's you get into the mastermind's hidden room, which has Mother Kuma, which is a giant Monokuma head in a jar, which purpose is to kind of look, kind of monitor the school with little mini Kumas, micro Kumas, which are little fly Monokumas that you can't see. They're too small to see. They have cameras. They can see everything. And also Mother Kuma can reproduce Monokumas.
Oh my god.
As many as want, make a bunch of spare Monokumas, which is something we knew could happen throughout the whole game.
Okay. Is Mother Kuma new to this?
Yes.
Okay.
There might have been a Mother Kuma, but might have been hidden. I don't know.
Okay. All right.
And through it, you also discover there's a secret passageway to the secret base, which is in the girls' bathroom on the first floor. So there's like hint for people who could potentially be the mastermind.
Yeah.
So you get in the trial, you try to figure out who the mastermind is. So remember, there are only 5 people left. Mm-hmm. So you got to think, hey, girls' bathroom is the secret passageway to it. That marks out the 2 guys in the lineup.
You would think, but who knows? That's what they want you to think.
So, first they go back, and this is why I kind of really went through the first trial, is because the first trial got brought up again. It's like, hey, it turns we have evidence to say Kaede did not kill Rantaro. She did the plan and everything, but the shot put missed.
Yeah.
And the reason they figured that out is because they found the shot put in the mastermind's like base or whatever, like secret room, and it had like her fibers from her vest on it or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Danganronpa.
Getting into science.
Yep, getting into science stuff. So it turns out it was like Kaede couldn't have done it. She planned the attack, but she didn't actually kill Rantaro. So it was someone else. And because of reasons, they couldn't go through the front door, what they thought was the only door to the secret room, or anything of that, because a bunch of reasons. Not going to go into all that. It's like, okay, the only way they could do it is going through the secret passageway, pretty much.
Okay.
So people went through all their alibis again from the first case.
That's cool.
And so one of the things from the first case was like one of the girls was in the cafeteria, but she went to the bathroom. She went to the bathroom around the time of the killing, but first she's like, okay, she just went to the bathroom, like
but
whatever. There's no way she could have been down there. Blah blah blah. Turns out that little alibi from the first case leads to finding the mastermind.
That's really cool, actually.
Yeah, so it turned out Tsumugi, the ultimate cosplayer, was the mastermind the whole time. And something that also kind of took her away from the first case and multiple cases, something I'm surprised didn't come up. I figured it was going to happen. She's the ultimate cosplayer. Is she gets these things called cospox, again, Danganronpa, where if she dresses up as a real person, cosplays a real person, she breaks out in hives. She can only dress up as fictional characters.
That's really stupid.
It's Danganronpa, I know. I mean, honestly, it had like no meaning really until this point, as far as like leading you to realize what the big reveal is.
Yeah.
Then she starts.
That's cool to have. Kind of like the double twist, because that was your player character, right?
Yeah, Kade was the character you started out with.
That's
now
cool.
She was not the killer.
The twist that like, oh, your player character was the killer, and then second twist, oh wait, no, she wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah, and well, when you caught Tsumugi, Dusk comes out and she's dressed up as Junko Inoshima, who's the main antagonist from the first two games. And when I saw that, I was like,
what?
Again? Come on.
Oh, because it was the twist in the second one that they were.
It was the twist both times that she was the perpetrator. It's like, are they really doing this again? And they even make a joke about it.
Yeah.
They make a lot of jokes about this kind of crap. Then she turns out, no, I was just cosplaying as her. And then she kept on going through, like, and this is a thing throughout the whole time. She is cosplaying as every single character that has been in these killing games from the first two games. So including looks, voices, all kind of stuff. It's just kind of her thing again. Anime nonsense that she can replicate all that stuff. Yeah. Fine, cool, whatever. It's anime. But I really like that part of it because, hey, you get to see and hear all the characters you've learned to love through these games one last time.
Yeah, that was cool.
But then it's like, hey, I can cosplay as this. What does it mean? And then you get then you gotta do choices, and then the realization of, oh, this is all fake. All these characters aren't real.
So how does that happen? How does that reveal happen? Like, I mean, she's cosplaying. Does she say that, or like?
It kind of leads into it. Is like, it doesn't necessarily do that, but it is just kind of talking like it goes into, hey, all the memories we've given you are fake. Hope's Peak Academy, you didn't go there. You don't really remember a lot of this stuff happening. Sorry. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. While you're also doing the investigation, you find where you make the flashback lights. And then you learn that you can put any memory into those things. Or at least suggested memories. And they can contradict each other. Like, there's an option to, hey, this person lived or this person died. You can do both to get those memories back. It's like, both can't be real. So obviously you can do whatever the hell you want.
Gotcha.
So they do the whole memories fake thing or whatever. And then it's the realization, oh, nothing that we've done is real. Danganronpa first thing's real. Yeah, because how she's cosplaying is all of them. It's like all this stuff's fake, and then it's the whole thing of this is a freaking TV show. The whole third V3 is a TV show, and then a bunch of like pictures of the audience comes up.
So there's a live audience.
Kind of just on the screen. There's like little stock picture things that are kind of blurry. And then you sing a bunch of words like it's a live stream coming up of people reacting to what's going on. So that stuff happened. You figure out that's the giant twist of Danganronpa 1 and 2 were just video games. And then at some point, and the anime happened and all that stuff, Danganronpa became so popular that they just made it its own real thing. Partly because in this world, apparently, world peace is a thing. There's not really any real war or anything in life. So to get that kind of taste of the bloodlust and that kind of stuff, yeah, they hold these killing games as like the most popular thing in the world. They actually call it Danganronpa. And they actually used to, when I said the word Danganronpa, I was like, what the fuck? I told you this when I was telling you this the other day. I was standing up, I think, to get a drink or something, and those words came out. I had to sit down, like, and before I could go, I had to sit there for a second, like, what?
So like it was already crazy, and then they just casually say like, "Oh yeah, we hold Danganronpa."
Yeah, pretty much like, yeah, this is not real. It's a TV show. It's like all these characters that I'm playing as exist in the world of Danganronpa. You as characters exist in the world of Danganronpa, because what it turns out, at least what they say for Shuichi and all the characters that that have been in V3 were. You were ordinary high school kids. You were giant fans of Danganronpa. They chose to be on the show. Yeah. They actually showed them clips of them giving their little speech like they want to be in it, saying, "Hey, I love Danganronpa. I can come up with the best murder ever." Blah blah blah. And Suichi's whole thing was he wanted to be the ultimate detective. He's like, there've been multiple ultimate detectives throughout the show. I've always liked those characters, but there's never been an ultimate detective who was the killer. So I think that could be interesting. So they let him on, blah blah blah, and they make him the ultimate detective. They pretty much take out all his old memories, put a whole fake life into all of them to make him think they lived out. So that kind of like. That was honestly the ultimate feeling of despair throughout all the games, because it's like none of this is real, none of their lives really matter. If they get out of here, they can't. There's no home to go back to. Like everyone knows who they are, so they'd be shunned or whatever, or maybe killed or something.
So what happens to the people that survive it? Like, do they go back into this society?
Nope, they go. Remember, Rantaro played a killing game. He won. So you go back in. It's a cycle.
So it's an endless cycle until you're dead.
Pretty much. They kind of may hint at that you can get out, but it's kind of a choice of, you can go back in. I don't know if you have to, but it sounds like most people that win do. So
it's basically killing yourself.
Yeah, once you sign up, you pretty much sign your death.
It's basically you're committing suicide.
Yeah, pretty much. People are crazy in this world, Dark.
Yeah, so is this where the V3 thing happens?
Yeah, this is where the V3 happens. So they go through all the titles because there have been multiple seasons of Danganronpa, and when Tsugumi shows up at Junko, they say she's Junko Inoshima the 53rd. I was like, man, there's been a lot of killing games, but I didn't make the connection at the time.
Yeah.
That's before the TV show stuff happened. They revealed the whole TV show thing. They go through the whole thing. The first 10 have their own logos and subtitles and stuff. I told you one of them is Final Fantasy 7-esque, if I remember right. Bunch of references and stuff. Then they do that, and like they ask you, hey, here's the logo for this season's Danganronpa, and it's the game's logo. V3, the thing when you open the thing, Danganronpa V3 Killing Harmony or whatever. It's like, what season do you think it is? And then they do the whole thing where you actually put in the numbers.
You guess?
Yeah. There's like a whole thing. There are a bunch of numbers scrolling across the screen, and you have to like select them as they're scrolling by the two numbers that fit it.
Gotcha.
And I said anything like, what season would this be? Because it's like, hint, it's in the title, like on the screen, like on the title.
Yeah.
I was like, huh. Well, it's obviously not 3. Wait, Junko is 53rd. Wait, the V is a 5. Ah!
It was right in front of us the whole time.
Yeah, seriously, it was the 53rd Danganronpa, and I thought the reason V3 was a thing.
That's pretty great.
Yeah, I thought the reason
because Jeff was telling me this before, and he was like, and I mean, this was before he got to the end of it. He was like halfway through the game or something, and he said, "Yeah, I guess it's just V3 because the anime was Danganronpa 3.
It's called 3, yeah.
So it's like they couldn't call it 3, so they call it V3, and you're like, yeah, it's kind of dumb, but I guess they had to do that. That's just hilarious to me. It mattered that you were saying that, but it's like, nope, that's how they got you.
Yep, it was right in front of me the whole time. And then they show the opening cutscene again. It turns out when you start the game, that opening cutscene is the actual like opening like credits of the show. It's like, man, they're showing a lot here.
Okay.
And they into a Teen Danganronpa. It's like, wait, are they called Teen Danganronpa? Then it turns out they ask you what's the name of the studio that are making this, and it's like, oh, it's Teen Danganronpa. That's why that's there. So it's all that kind of nonsense. All this is fake. Everyone has existential dread. It's like the whole life's a lie. Everything, and there's a whole thing of like Maki, one of the girls, fell in love with one of the other guys. It's like, oh no, you only love that guy because we pretty much wrote that in the script and kind of programmed you to do that.
So is it a normal thing in the Danganronpa killing games for them to figure out at the end and have existential dread, or is that a special thing that happened this time?
No. It's all two kind of had that because they all realized they're in a computer program and they were actually caused.
Well, I'm saying like, in the canon of like them having 53 things, like, are you supposed to figure this out? Like, are they supposed to figure it out at the end? I'm
going to imagine it happens on some seasons and not others.
Okay.
I imagine that's how it goes.
Okay. Anyway.
Yeah. Then exactly. Yeah. I think they hinted, or at least said / hinted out that this kind of thing has happened before, obviously, if there are 50 something of them that'll like this, odds are at least one other one or a couple other ones figured it out. Got to that point. So they do the whole thing. It turned out Kibo, the ultimate robot, the whole time throughout the game, he's been talking about his inner voice, like guides him, like to do the right thing and that kind of thing. So I'm kind of like, I wonder what this means. I wonder if it means the doctor who built him's alive, or something. But then the whole thing of everyone's dead, like, okay, that's not it. What's going on there? It turns out he is the audience surrogate. There are online polls that are done that make so what does Kibo want to do to influence the game? Because you know how I said in the beginning of the chapter that he goes kind of crazy and starts blowing shit up?
Yeah.
Well, he has a hair sticking up like throughout the whole game. And during the trial before this, the execution scene, it gets knocked off. So it was an antenna.
Yeah.
So he didn't have the voice, like he couldn't hear the audio, like get the audience signal anymore. So he kind of had like free will technically for the first time.
And that's when he went crazy.
I mean, he didn't actually go crazy. He's kind of like made a decision of, I'm just going to end this now. That kind of thing. Then the antenna gets back out. Like stuff happens. The Mono Cubs are repairing him before the trial because of the battle. They put the antenna back on, so he's starting hearing it again. And that just kind of happens. And one of the things of something that really cool that happens during this trial is you actually end up playing from the perspective of every character that's still alive at that point, which is kind of a first for Danganronpa. Instead of the main character, you're jumping around, so you play as Kibo for a little bit. And one of the things is you kind of defy the voice.
So this is after you know about the
the whole audience participation thing, whatever. You kind of defy it, and then something just happens, and they kind of overrun that and kind of take away all of Kibo's free will and memories and crap, and just make him a robot, mindless robot that just goes with what the audience says.
Gotcha.
Which kind of sucks. I like Kibo. Kibo's the homie.
So he's basically dead.
Yeah, and so it ends up happening. You end up at the end kind of doing. You're kind of once everyone kind of gets over this whole thing happened, they're still trying to fight it. Or Kibo kind of likes to fire into everyone else's asses after they're kind of depressed. Like, let's just end this. Nothing matters anymore. He just kind of like, okay, there's still hope all the way because the whole thing in Danganronpa is hope versus despair. So they ended up. I can't remember exactly how it happened. They ended up getting a vote of, hey, you vote for Kibo or you vote for Tsugumi. Kibo represents hope, Tsugumi represents despair, and then stuff happens depending on who. Like, the loser dies. Like, whoever loses dies, but let's say Kibo as hope wins. He goes on to the next game. And someone else goes on the next game. They kind of do the ultimatum. Hey, you can all die, or two of you can live and go on to the next game. Get your memories erased, play this game again, blah, blah, blah.
I say just kill them all. Let's just all die.
Well, they're like, well, we need the ratings. We need, like, then they do the whole thing. The reason people watch this is because, they want hope in their lives and all that kind of stuff, that kind of thing, that kind of cheesy thing. Then, once Kibo gets everyone's, lights the fire in their asses, they're all like, okay, guys, fuck all this. Fuck this game. We're not doing anything anymore. We are not voting in this thing. And a rule is that was made at the very beginning of the game. If you don't vote when it comes to voting time, you die. Yeah. So everyone's like, we are not voting. So they're like, we're just gonna die. We're not playing your game. They're kind of thinking that might ruin the show. Blah blah blah, because the audience is not getting what they want.
Right.
So they kind of do all that stuff. So the last couple things where you select things, you just let the timer run out.
That's cool.
It's like,
can you select something?
You can. I'm sure what happens because, like, I know what's going on here. I'm not selecting anything. I'm going with my boy Shuichi.
All right. So what happens?
So what happens then? At this point, Kibo is kind of not all there. The vote goes down. Blah blah blah. Turns out no one voted, including Tsugumi. I can't remember the exact reason, but she didn't vote. They're like, well, Kibo voted, so I'm getting what I want, even if I die, because Kibo was supposed to vote for himself. Like, Tsugumi's like, there's no world. I don't want to live in a world of Danganronpa and stuff, so I'm willing to die for it, that kind of nonsense.
But she doesn't remember Danganronpa, right?
No. Sugumi's the mastermind, the betrayer. She knew the whole time.
Okay.
She's known all this.
Gotcha.
She's pretty much a TV producer / writer.
Gotcha.
So the tallies come up. No one voted. Kibo did not vote. He was able to, I guess, kind of break through it. Had some semblance of thing. Did not vote. So, everyone supposed to die. Blah 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 blah. So they have Kibo carry out the kind of execution and just destroy everything. But apparently Kibo was still kind of there because he spared the.
Of course.
I was like, wait, are they gonna kill everyone? It's kind of a fitting end. And at the end when you're not picking the choices and stuff, Monokuma and Tsugumi are trying to appeal to you. He's like, do you really want Danganronpa to end? Do you want the game to be over?
Very meta.
This is all meta throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
Obviously, especially this last chapter, obviously.
Definitely meta of like, you play this video game and you like watching people die.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it. People play Danganronpa for the murders.
Yeah.
Like, you ain't wrong. That happens. Kibo destroys everything. Monokuma and Tsugumi end up getting flattened by a giant rock from the debris falling down. The special thing, Kibo destroying everything. Kibo looks down and sees kind of rocks shuffling where the other survivors would be. He kind of does a little smile, flies towards the school, starts to self-destruct, and kind of blows himself up to take everything in with him.
Okay.
So that's the
So everyone but him is alive?
Yeah, that's the last thing you see, the explosion. You do credits like, is that the end? Is everyone dead? Then after credits, and you go back to the title screen, and then I try to click, like, not doing anything. And then it's suddenly like a TV screen that like, kind of turns off, and it goes to the rubble, everything, and you see Suichi, Maki, and Himiko come out of the rebels alive and everything, kind of talking like, we survived, blah, blah, what are we going to do now? And, well, Tsugumi, before she dies, says a little kind of small remark hinting at, maybe this was all real after all and not a TV show. I'm like, well, fuck.
What did she say?
I can't remember the exact words, but it's just kind of like, it was something like she's like a copycat or copycat killer type thing. So it kind of hints at, no, Junko is actually real, and she was actually just pretty much doing a killing game like Junko. I'm not explaining it well. It doesn't make sense without that context, and I don't have the exact wording.
Gotcha.
So she's kind of hinting at, hey, maybe this wasn't a TV show after all.
So you just don't know.
Yeah, you're gonna seem like, was this all? I don't know anymore, man.
And that's it.
That is the end. There are only 3 survivors, which is definitely less than the other games.
Wow. It's that like I said,
There's a lot more crazy nonsense in here, obviously, but that's a lot.
I said before we talked about it, that's like one of those ballsy endings I can think to put in a game ever.
Yeah. Sorry, it took a little longer.
This is fine. I might just brand this as the Danganronpa V3 spoiler cast, but we'll see. Well, do you have any other Danganronpa V3 thoughts you want to get out there into the ether?
Well, I guess I haven't. I guess I kind of said it's like, I enjoy this ending. It's a cool meta thing. I think it's a fitting end for Danganronpa, especially how it ramped up over the series. I completely get why people don't like this ending.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's crazy. I think it sounds cool, but I agree. I can see it.
Yeah, I think I said during the regular podcast, I'm pretty sure 2 is my favorite Danganronpa just as a whole because it kind of balances it. I like the cases. I like the trials and the cases more in that game and all that kind of stuff. Overall, than probably the other 2, like the characters and all that kind of stuff. There are some problems with this game that kind of put it under maybe the other ones for me. Not all the characters hit as well for me. Some of them are a little too anime in ways. Like, I really like Kyo, the anthropologist, the one who did the whole seesaw effect thing, but has that sister complex, kind of ruined it for me. He's like, why? Why? And stuff like that. And then I mentioned it in
even stuff as popular as Game of Thrones has people cheering for incest. So.
Yeah. But I guess I will get, at least in this, they're like, you're weird for this. It wasn't like, oh, too loud. No. Then I mentioned in the podcast the whole sex toxic character Mew just went overboard with it. like about every single little thing, and she has this, and she likes to insult people, blah blah blah. And the moment someone kind of retaliates, she goes like, "But why?" or like kind of cuddles up and whatever, and usually says another sex-related thing or whatever. And everyone has like these couple voice clips that happen during regular dialogue, just kind of like in Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
There's a couple little quick voice clips. One of her voice clips is "You fucking virgin" or something like that. Just over random things like, okay.
Yeah, that sounds annoying.
Yeah, so. And a couple other little things like that with people. It was mainly her. 2 also had that, but not to that degree, but I also didn't really care for that character that much. But he died in the first case, which I was okay with. She was the victim in the 4th case.
So that was most of the game.
Yep. That's why definitely on here she's around so much, but her skill was needed.
Well, it sounds like
The
it's
ultimate
very
adventure.
clever writing, very clever storytelling, even if you don't like it. But
they get really creative with the cases,
They definitely
even if
put a
some
lot
of them
of
were
thought
kind of
it
nonsense.
seems like there's enough Danganronpa, and like you've done enough repetitive stuff to where stuff like that can catch you off guard. Like 2 people dying in a trial.
Yeah, they play with your
and, like,
expectations with
yeah.
things, definitely, 100%.
Which is definitely a sign of a good mystery game. Like a mystery
Yeah,
story.
and I've seen some people complain about the pacing in Danganronpa V3, but since it's a good bit longer than the other games, I was fine with it because for the most part, stuff's going on. Yeah, I will agree. Like with the sex talks, an example, there was kind of unneeded dialogue in some cases because like they would insert that kind of needlessly into it, and then some, even if it wasn't that the talk about sex, it was some other random things like with people's little quirks.
Yeah.
Like that came up and didn't really need to or whatever. Some of it was funny, some of it was not, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But I like the pacing. I like the cycle of Danganronpa because it's pretty much you start the chapter, kind of story goes on, you kind of try to figure out the mystery. You do daily life stuff where you kind of your choice of hanging out with certain characters, getting to know their backstory a little more than you would in the main story if you didn't do it, even though in this case it's all fake. Then
Bunch of fake bullshit.
Yep. Then the murder happens. You do the investigation. Then you do the killing. Rinse and repeat. I like it. There's always something going on. I'm always interested to see. Like even, of course, the investigation and the trial are the most exciting parts for me. But even when it's not there, this interesting stuff going on. I have that anticipation when the murder happens.
Yeah. A lot of Japanese games like this kind of they use repetition. Sometimes it's bad, but sometimes it's really good. You know,
I like it. I mean, yeah, I like the cycle in this case. Always something's going on, even if you know kind of how it's going to go. Like in this game, for example, it's going to probably be about 3 in-game days in between a trial and a murder. Which, fine, whatever.
Yeah.
So you kind of can
repetition is not a bad thing necessarily. Yeah. Like stuff like Persona, because of its repetitive daily nature, like you fall into a rhythm and it feels nice. You know, you're doing that. It's cool.
Yep. A lot of twists and turns and some stuff obviously I did not talk about. Talked a lot about the main things. There are a lot of like holy crap moments in here, especially.
Yeah. Well, maybe we can do another thing when Alex or Jacob have played it.
I don't expect to happen anytime soon.
That's why we're doing this now. You know, because
that's like 100 hours worth of thing, I'm sure.
Obviously, that would be You would have a better partner to talk about it with. I'm sorry that I couldn't do much. But.
Oh no! You were fine. You held. No, it's actually kind of good. I know we talked about some of this before. It's kind of good to make sure if you didn't understand something, you're able to ask things for clarification. Which I'm going off this from memory and kind of obviously leaving some stuff out.
For the most part, got it. It was definitely like.
I do kind of wish. We did not talk about it. So get your reaction to the.
I mean, there's no way I would have played all of Danganronpa.
No. Like we didn't have
didn't know that before.
Yeah. So when I
did have more of a visceral reaction whenever you told me it 2 days ago or whatever. I was like, wait, what? It's a TV show. Yeah. But oh well, it is what it is. Well, you got to talk about it. So I think that would be cool for people who have played that.
Yep.
But
or people who have not played or may be interested in insanity.
Yeah, they just don't care, and they're just like, That's why I'm happy that you played it, so I could just hear about it.
Yeah, and you can see the occasional.
I might go look up like the ending of it just to see.
It's long, like that last case, like 4 hours long.
No, I wouldn't watch all that, but I just want to see when they reveal the V3 thing.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, you got to hear me talk about it, and you got to see my occasional picture I took of the
the
weird references and crazy things from the thing.
It's pretty funny.
Like, this is all fiction.
It's fake. All right, but we've been podcasting a lot today. Whoo, Jeff. So I need to hit the old dusty trail, but pretty good game.
Yep.
Series.
Yep. I love the series a lot. I'm honestly curious, like, at this point, since we played so many games, if we redid our top 20 or whatever games or whatever, where some of these games we recently played, where we placed them.
Yeah, it's probably worth redoing that list at like checkpoints, like redoing that list every now and then, because Persona 5 would be on there somewhere.
Yeah,
for sure.
I can see maybe me making the case, but Danganronpa 2 at least towards the tail end of that top.
When obviously Red Dead would be on there.
Well, I mean, yeah, God of War would be on there. Celeste,
yeah.
We'll probably we'd replace Smash.
Yeah, and Smash. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, cause it's boring to just put 4 Smashes. You know. Yeah. For being honest, it would be that way, but that's boring.
That is boring. Well, Daryl, thank you for listening to me ramble on this nonsense.
No, it was fun. I got to.
Yeah, it's like this again. They probably obviously, sorry. There's something I could have cut. It's like part of the fun of this, just as you haven't played, is talk about some of the insane moments.
Yeah, like I said, I'll probably just make this a spoiler cast.
Yeah,
I think it's close enough.
Yes, yeah, spoiler cast, spoiler talk. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much.
Yep.
Check out Nerds Large Gaming Podcast every Monday. I don't know when you're listening to this. You might be listening to this like 10 years from now.
You never know.
Never know. But maybe it's still going on. I don't know. Or maybe we're all dead. Maybe the apocalypse has happened. Maybe it's all a TV show.
Maybe.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Danganronpa's crazy, man.